Good morning, everybody, and thank you for coming to today's Restaurant News and Networking Group. We are a group of experts in the restaurant industry, and we are here to help you with any questions you might have. For those of you watching on YouTube, please subscribe and like our channel. And if you want to see some of the videos that we have done previously, you can also look on our website at trnusa.com. Today we have a presentation that's going to be done by Brian Josselson from Rogue Leasing. Are you ready, Brian?
Yeah, I sent you the things. Can you?
Hopefully it works. Is that it?
Yeah, looks like, yeah. All right, let's see what we got here. I guess, all right. Let's see here, make sure.
Got to put it into PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Now I'm screwed.
Well, go back where it says back to, or just double click on Brian's PowerPoint slides.
Yeah, click on the attachment. Not open.
Click on the attachment. Thank you. Whoever said that. No, the attachment up one.
Attachment, left corner.
No, that's too high. A little bit
Down.
lower.
Wait, which one?
The attachment itself. It's got a little.
Oh,
There we are. There, right there.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay.
You may have to share a different screen.
I think that's it.
All right, just hit F5.
How do I get rid of the left side?
Just hit F5 and put it up in full screen.
Yeah.
Oh, just click on the slide. Okay, enable editing, number one,
Yeah.
a yellow
Where's that?
a yellow bar.
Oh yeah, I got you.
And then go down to the bottom. Oopsie.
Why don't you start, Brian? We'll catch up.
Do you want me to do this?
Yeah, you want?
Sure.
Brian, is that the same slide set?
Yeah.
We got it now. No. Yes.
No,
No.
just, okay, go to the bottom, start at the bottom right, and then go over a little bit and you'll see a little screen. Bottom right-hand corner. And you'll see it says 53, then there's a slide bar, then there's a screen.
Right.
Okay, and you have to enable content, by the way, on the yellow bar. Enable content. There we are. Now go back to that screen at the bottom right
Yeah.
and click on it. It's next to that slide bar. It says 57, then slide bar, and then this little screen, a pull down screen.
Or you could just hit F5 on your keyboard.
Oh, thank you.
F5.
F5, I believe. Yeah.
No.
Oh, it's slides. Click on slideshow up above. That should be able to do it.
Yeah, slideshow.
Uh,
No.
All the way on top in the orange.
Over slideshow.
There we are. And then click on from the beginning, all the way
From
left,
beginning.
all the way left, up a bit.
Yeah.
Up, there you are. Click on
There
it.
you go.
I'd like to remind everybody that we are restaurant professionals.
Yes.
Sharon.
There we
Yeah,
are.
There we go.
There we go. All right.
At least we know the name of the company.
This is what it feels like to buy a 10-foot hood.
And for future reference, F5
All
is
right.
not the keyboard, not the letter F in 5. There's a keys on the top row that says F5.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is great.
Okay, Brian, take it away.
All right, I'm Brian with Rogue Financial Group. We are a financing. I'm sorry. Huh? Rogue
Everybody
Financial Group.
mute themselves. Go ahead, Brian.
Case their phone.
Okay.
Okay.
Our Rogue Leasing. Equipment financing company. We've been around Florida. We do a lot of different types of equipment financing. Can you flip it?
Brian, are you frozen?
I
Go ahead.
can't see the next screen.
Oh,
Next page.
because you got to tell me.
I
You did.
Oh, so, go ahead. Sorry.
Go to the next page. Next page. So why finance? You know, financing has a lot of benefits to it. A lot of times you can save your capital for other things that do come up. For some reason, the whole thing is not showing up for some reason, Howard. There we go. Okay. All right, let's move it now. We talk about cash flow. We talk about again, as you can see, cash flow allows the business to take better investment decisions. Lets you invest your money, as we talked about, in other areas, as far as like, you know, like a lot of times, you know, a business loan, liquor license, things like that. You're creating a bank relationship with us. A little bit what difference is from like maybe going to a Wells Fargo or a Bank of America. You know, they will finance you, but they won't do startups. We will do startups. We'll do people with credit in the 6s. But a lot of times they have a certain area where they will want to look at the finance. Typically, they look at 150 to 200,000 on up. We'll start about 10K on up as far as financing. So that's a little bit of an advantage that you have with us. You know, you're by getting a loan with us, you know, you build credit for the future. Possibly, you know, getting better rates, more capital. Again, as you can see, it's also tax deductible. You can basically rewrite the whole thing off for each year that you have the loan. And we also, you know, have different types of programs, from 90-day deferment to different types of payment structures. Rates can range from 5.5% to 6% up to about 10-11%, which is more where you have the startups. Okay. As you can see, more reasons to finance. Again, we talked about cash, saving your cash. We talked about that. Let's see what we got. Okay. Again, we talked about tax deductible. We do offer sometimes a bank line of credit. So if we approve you 100,000, you might only need about 50 at this time. The approval will stay open for about 90 days if you need to come back for more equipment. So what's going on? As we talked about, it can be written off for a term that fits the equipment's use. Going too fast, Howard. We talked about, we have some ability to do some working capital, which is like lines of credit, equipment financing, again, we talked about. I think, I guess go to the next screen. Okay. Yeah, we already talked about creative solutions. Again, here's my contact. Be glad to help anybody from the hospitality industry to non-hospitality. We'll look at, I work with what we call yellow iron, which is construction equipment. I do some logistics, medical, things like that. Okay. So you can see some of the stuff that I do finance. One of the things that like in the what we call yellow iron up here is construction equipment. So those are in big demand. So, you know, I'll be working on a financing program for somebody, and some of my vendors will say, well, it's already been sold because somebody's come in with cash. So especially on yellow iron and construction equipment, it's high demand, but there's not a lot out there right now. As you can see, I do restaurants. I do a lot with convenience stores, from bottom of the ground, which is tanks, to gas pumps, to inside. We do awnings, things like that. So that's what I do. Brian with Rogue Financial Group, and I'm here to help. Been in for about 15 years, and it does have its challenges. So, but that's about it. Thanks.
Hey, Brian, I got a question for you. I've seen your presentation before, and it's very well done. But you know, I'm just out to the group. I wouldn't need your my business wouldn't need your expertise. But are you still seeing a delay on equipment coming in? And if
Yes.
so, how are you extending that line of credit if it goes beyond the 90 days?
Well, there's some options. A lot of my vendors, I work with them, and I'll work with typically some of the clients that I have, you know, could be clients that I have come back to me. So there's a couple things you can do. Like I have ability to do a 90-day deferment. Okay. So which is, you know, helps them in a sense, but you're still, a lot of this equipment is still, you know, 20, 22, 23 weeks out, right? Like for instance, I'm working with a client up in Atlanta called the Bagel Hole. They want an Alto-Sham, okay? And an Alto-Sham Convy is about 25 to 27 weeks out. And he's opening a new location. But to answer your question, or I'll work with the vendor and say, can he put down 20%, which is his own money. And then when we get closer, I will finance it. And then they give him back his cash. Okay. Sometimes they have the money to put down. Sometimes they don't. But, like for instance, like we're talking about startups. I mean, I can get them done, but it depends on which vendor has what. Sometimes you have to piece it together with other vendors. You'll have to go get it from something here, something there, something there. But yeah, it's still a big challenge. I mean, especially, you can put up a refrigeration, but a lot of these little parts do come from China. Okay. And to put the panels together, you can get the panels. I have a guy I work with out in Arizona, but it's the small stuff that you have problems with. And then another thing like Frymaster. I did a deal with a guy back in March. He's opening a new location. He's held off his location till March because his Frymasters are not coming in until September. And he has to have Frymaster because he's had another location he's had for 35 years. He's had these fry masters in there that's lasted 30 some years. Those are his babies. He takes care of them. It's a place here in Georgia, but he's opening another location, and that's what he wants. He wants the fry masters, and so he has to wait. Other things like, what else is kind of in some delays, like, I do some work with woodworkers, I build cabinetry. So the problem that they have with cabinetry now is the labor, putting together. I'm dealing with a place we know about, Nucky's. He's been delayed. He's supposed to open up in August. He's depending on subcontractors they can't find. So, but to answer your question, yeah, it's tough, and there's people that paying on their loan, which I feel bad, but they had to put money down for the equipment. But there's, I work with people. I do 90-day deferments. Maybe they could put cash down with a vendor if they work with a vendor, and then I'll turn around and finance it, and then the vendor will give the money back. But yeah, it's still kind of wacky out there. So
What percentage of your startups are defaulting?
don't say that now. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. I've had a pretty good run in the last 4 or 5 years. Okay. I think maybe a handful. But everybody, I stay with my customers, make sure they're still paying it. But that is always in the back of my head, is that a default. You just that, like I said, this guy with the that has never been in the food service industry before, he might default. I don't know. I'm staying in touch with him. I'm staying in touch with the vendor just to make sure they continue. But yeah, it's just that this guy that's opening this barbecue place is in a panic mode. But I try to help him as much as I possibly can. I was kind of brought into it at the tail end. If I knew what he was doing from the beginning, I would have maybe helped him, try to consult him and tell him what to look for. But yeah, that's it. Any other questions?
What's the length of your lease terms?
Well, on restaurants, it's about 5 years. On other stuff like yellow iron and other things, I can go out 6 or 7 years. Okay. But most people, like on yellow iron, will do 36 months because they want to, because they're making so much money off of construction equipment, especially like drills. You see, they see people using these drills on the streets. Those can go for $250,000. Okay. But the return on it is quick for these guys. Okay. So, so most of my guys that, especially in the hospitality, will do about 48 months. Okay. But yeah, but like I said, it's just, and I was talking about last week on transportation. So not so much your guys that are the big boys in the market, right? It's the small to medium guys are defaulting on loans because of cost of diesel. Cost. It's more to transport stuff. So so that's one of the areas of being of default. As far as restaurants, who knows what tomorrow brings, but I'm constantly watching it. So, but yeah, interesting times.
Brian, you mentioned you work with convenience stores with the underground storage tanks. You had special problems with the underground storage tanks?
Not really. I've probably done maybe a handful. I deal with some guys in the South Carolina area, a company called Mecca, and I don't see them very often, but I can do it, and I'll do the gas pumps. Gas pumps usually run between $15,000 to $25,000 each. Okay. Those big awnings that you see out there, that could probably be somewhere from $150,000 to $200,000. So, but yeah, and convenience stores, they're a breed of their own too, also.
Now, Brian, when you're doing like a convenience store and you say ground up, do you try and capture the whole entire project, which would include all the equipment inside the restaurant? I mean, inside the convenience store?
Yeah. I mean, it depends. If it's a true startup, I'm probably going to be capped at about 100K. But if it's an extension of another location, I can go from $450,000 to $600,000 on it, which usually will cover the inside and most of the pumps and things like that. I can go higher than 600,000, but I to be honest with you, I'd rather stay away from the tanks, just but I offer it just because I deal with the convenience store industry. So
Thanks a lot.
yeah.
We got gas station. They're building a new, you're talking about those tanks. They're building a new gas station at one of the corners up here in Huntsville. And you don't realize how big those tanks are that are buried until you see them above ground. They're enormous. I mean, they take up so much room.
Well, here in Georgia, I tell you who's putting these things up all over the place. Everybody knows who Buc-ee's is. Okay. But I guess they're trying to give giving Quick Trip a run for their money is Racetrack. They've been putting these things up all over the place. I mean, there's one they're just putting up that's maybe 2 miles away from another. And then there's an exit up from off 400. There's a Racetrack there. And I guess, those are the guys that are fighting for it right here in Georgia's where I live is a Quick Trip and Racetrack. So
Wawa.
I haven't seen Wawa. But that's pretty much what I've seen. So there's
We have
Racetrack.
a Wawa here and it's unbelievable. It blows away Racetrack. They're very nice. They're very colonial looking, I guess is the word. Right,
Yeah.
Steve?
Oh, I don't know. I thought they were fairly modern looking. I don't go into them, so I don't know. I find the
Oh.
gas expensive.
Fantastic.
So
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Philadelphia, so I've been going to them since I was a kid. Kids
So,
have, but they're killing
I know
it.
gas is probably pretty expensive down there, but I went to Costco last night, paid $3.59.
I'm going to your Costco.
I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm there.
I
Because
bet you there was a line of cars.
there was, because there's Kroger run around, and they're still running about 4.45, and then you have your BPs are still running about 4.70.
By the way, so each Costco store manager sets the price of gas.
Oh, really?
Yes, so it can vary
Really?
between locations.
I did not know that.
For instance,
No wonder the Boca
Hannah is
location's
cheaper than
so
Boca.
Yeah.
And so is Deerfield. Not Deerfield. Where's the one?
Pompano.
Deerfield. Pompano. excuse me.
Pompano.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
is Pompano.
Harry, you brought up Wawa before. Their business model is different than most of the other gas stations, and that the fact
Yes.
they cater to families and women travelers.
Correct.
If you ever go to their stores, it's spotless. And the
Okay.
food they serve caters to women. That's their
Yes.
business model.
You're correct.
There's another one I really like, but they're more Virginia and wherever. Sheets. You ever heard of Sheets?
No.
Only on my bed.
Huh?
Only on my bed.
Yeah, I know. But that's a real good concept. It's like you said, it's almost like Wawa, but they have cater to family. And then of course, then there's Buc-ee's, as I talked about. They don't allow any semis. So,
They're building a Buc-ee's in Athens, which is about 20 minutes away from where I'm at. And that Buc-ee's has 120 gas pumps.
yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Terry, where they build a Buc-ee's, they will build an exit off the interstate just for the Buc-ee's. The one in Warner Robins, Georgia, that exit wasn't there until Buc-ee's was built.
yeah.
I was just gonna say, it has to be right off the exit,
It
like
is. It is,
Cracker
and you can
Barrel.
see
They're all
it.
right off the exit.
And they're, Ed, you're talking about Wawa. Buc-ee's has the greatest marketing. You can be 125 miles away from it, and about every 20 miles, you'll
Yeah.
see another billboard. So many miles to Buc-ee's, so many miles to Buc-ee's. So
That
their
sounds like south
marketing
of the
is
border.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well,
And
you know
get
what?
to south of the border, there's nothing there.
Well, you know what they're.
That was our
That-
goal to get there, and it
They got a
was
Buc-ee's
so
there, yeah.
disgusting.
Well, you know what they're known for. This is what their claim to fame is. They have the cleanest bathrooms around.
They do.
Well, damn, I'll leave and go there just to use the restroom.
Now,
All right.
you guys don't have MAPCO in Florida, do you? MAPCO?
No, they're in Tennessee though.
Yeah, they're in Alabama now. I look at MAPCO as like a QT, a quick trip. But then they also have a new one called Twice a Day. And
Oh, really?
their marketing is to go twice a day because they have got food and sandwiches like it's like, it's like the movie Vacation. I'm so hungry I could eat a sandwich from a convenience store. That's a
gas
place where I would
station,
eat
yeah.
a sandwich from a convenience store. It's good.
Aw, good.
all right. Let me jump in here and
Okay.
interrupt our gas station talk. Any other questions for Brian?
Get Brandon, he's gotta leave.
All right. Well, Brian, thank you very much for your presentation. Next week we have Bruce Silver, who's not here today, and the week after that is Matt. And Brandon, are you scheduled? No.
No, I just got to run. I got another call here in about 5 minutes.
All right. So why don't
Let
you start?
Brandon
Why
do
don't you
his
start us
thing.
off with the introductions?
Sure, yeah, I can do that. Brandon Rhodes, founder of Young Fox. What we're doing at Young Fox is becoming a one-stop marketplace that solves searching multiple food apps for all your restaurants and food outlets. If you can imagine just downloading one app for all your food ordering needs, food delivery needs. What we've done recently is pivoted towards the market, and we're going to introduce ghost kitchens, and there's a mass exodus taking place right now in the restaurant industry, where restaurants are not wanting to pay high fees and be a part of the major food delivery companies. Some restaurants are even struggling to stay afloat because of this. So what we've done is we've created a platform that allows restaurants to come and market themselves on our platform. And we've also started introducing some other delivery partners that they can tap into that can fill their delivery needs that won't charge them 15 to 40% of the check, every single check. So we're going to be ramping up. Just received an investment last week that will take me all the way through October to finish the project build out. And we hope to launch October, the first week of October, for a fall soft launch. And it's going to be focused in the West Palm Beach area. So in the next 60 days, we're going to be ramping up our go-to-market strategy, and hopefully you'll see us to market soon. So Brandon Rhodes with Young Fox.
Okay.
Brandon, real quick question. Have you heard of Wow Bao?
Wow Bao.
Wow Bao is putting in what they're calling dark kitchens. They're ghost kitchens, dark kitchens that are restaurants that aren't using their kitchens, and they're opening up about 100 of them between Florida and Georgia. You have heard of them?
I've never heard of them. No, I mean, I heard of some other concepts, but not that one.
Okay, great. You know what? I'm going to send you that information because I do have the president of the marketing of this, and they've already launched way over several hundred of these, and they're for ghost kitchens. They and what they are, and I don't know if you know about this, but they're vending machines for ghost kitchens that are putting in hot dishes on an hourly basis, but they're massive machines. I don't know if anybody has heard of that, but this is a whole new thing now. I got a
I've
huge
seen that for
release
the
on
pizza.
this.
I've seen pizza concepts for that.
So they
Yes.
reinvented Horn and Hardart.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Except
but
it's
this is
smaller.
like all
And
new,
what you're-
all new concept for these guys. And I just wondered, I wanted to leave it open to hear if anyone knew about them.
No.
Well, what's so kind of cool about the ghost kitchens, the dark kitchens, is that you're getting strictly virtual spin-off brands of,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might have a Chili's in your area, but then you may have like Jane's Tacos, and Jane's Tacos is a virtual brand of Chili's, and they just make it right there in the Chili's kitchen, and you would never know that Jane's Kitchens was owned by Chili's, and Chili's is selling tacos underneath a virtual brand called Jane. It's just an example, but what this is opening the door for is for companies to come in like we're doing at Young Fox and allow them to have an outlet for their virtual brand alone. So
Yes. Yes.
we're going to be targeting that market pretty heavily as well. So things are looking pretty good right now.
That's terrific. I will send you this in your email.
All right. Yeah, great.
Hey, real quick, Brandon, there's a ghost kitchen up in Atlanta that just opened up. I can probably send you that information. I get the updates on it all the time. I'll forward you.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, good,
More-
good.
more
Look
the merrier.
at they're expensive. I mean, there's this Guy Fieri has two of them right here in
Mhm.
maybe supposedly, I don't know what they are, but a freaking hamburger is like $25 by the time you're all done. Not good enough. Chicken fingers, it's expensive.
Yeah.
But anyway.
All
Well,
right,
everybody
Terry,
have a good weekend. I got to run. Everybody have a good
Okay.
weekend. Nice seeing
You
everybody.
too. You too, Brandon.
as long as you were
Good day.
talking, Terry, why don't you give us your intro?
Oh, you still want me to talk? Okay, that's a first. I think everyone except maybe Cliff knows what we do here. I happen to be in charge of the leads program. I did change my background, but I am going to change it back to the leads sheet. We have Florida and Georgia. They come out once a month with information that is second to none anywhere in the industry. 40 to 60 brand new leads every month in Georgia and 60 to 80 in Florida. Just things are popping in like I cannot believe. I can't keep up with it. We can't keep up with it. And we have a lot of things going on right now. These leads are getting more detailed with some. I'm starting to add in lodges. I'm starting to add in the Wawas. We are starting to add in the two girls that are working for me. I have them adding in. I told them if you get anything that has to do with the kitchen, give it to me, because there's other things. People in the group even do way more than just restaurants. So listening to Brian today, not even realizing, as much as I've heard him, not even realizing he does the underground tanks. Okay, well, there you go. You got a brand new chain of gas stations that are starting. He's going to want to know about that. So that's what I do, the leads program in an Excel spreadsheet, which can be sorted any way you want. And we have Gordon Food Service, U.S. Food Service, the Florida Restaurant Association. Cisco people get these religiously every year for the past 8 years that we've been doing it. So I think, Joe, you get them too, right? Yes.
Yeah,
So everybody gets them. And if there's something in here that you're interested in and you can't get the rest of the information, we pay for licenses, pages to go on. We're happy to try and find what you need for that particular job that you might want to do. So just let me know, send me an email, and I will get on it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Ed, good morning.
Well, you
Ed?
call me? Okay.
Yeah, Ed. Sorry.
I'm,
No,
I'm just
the other Ed.
daydreaming.
You were here first today, so you go first today.
I'm sleeping in the background here. That's right. I'm Ed Gerton with Seacoast Sales based out of Orange Park, Florida, which is just outside of Jacksonville. We have a company that specializes in frozen dessert equipment. So it's batch freezers, soft serve machines, whipped cream machines, display cases, mixed treat machines. We're coming out, we've just started to sell a couple of units called a freeze and go, which is primarily going after high-end residential houses. Believe it or not, we've actually sold multiple units going into high-end houses, one up in Buckhead, one in Ponte Vedra. So they're making their own ice cream in their house. And the freeze and go makes a pint of ice cream or gelato at a time and do it in about 8 minutes. So I've got a couple of catering companies that have used these because they don't want to spend a lot of money on a big batch freezer. So they're using these because before they went to Walmart and bought an ice cream machine at Walmart, which takes them an hour and a half to make a pint of ice cream. And so now
How much
they're
does that
doing
machine cost?
about $7,000.
That's why they're
have
going
somebody,
to high-end
One
places
for my house.
that entertain,
No,
yeah.
we've got a member in the 11 o'clock group who does custom ice cream. So
Okay.
I'll let him know.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because the people that are actually interested are some housing designers here who are doing high-end houses in the Ponte Vedra area. And they're giving those as an option to some of the people to put in. So,
Oh, wow. Ponte
see how it turns
Verde
out.
is unbelievably beautiful.
It's expensive.
Wow.
The World Golf Village, some of the houses going in there.
We
are
know
high-end.
someone that lives in there. I should ask her because she does a lot of PR and a lot of, I mean, we went to one of the resorts as her guest. And let me tell you what, it was second to none, first class all the way. So you know who I'm talking about, Howard. Leah?
Yeah.
She might be very interested in several of these.
And it actually fits on a countertop. It's a 110 volt system.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay.
And you
Okay.
know what, Ed, send me a release on that.
Okay.
Or if I can go on the website, if there's one there, I'll take it from there.
Yeah, it's on the website, but I'll send
All
it
right.
to you.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
And I
Thank
need
you.
a high-res JPEG also. I'm sorry, Howard, go ahead.
Joe Cregan, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Joe Cregan with Kite Payment Services, just outside of Fort Lauderdale here. I've been in business since 2013. We support, actually incorporated since 2016. We support about almost 700 customers, of which about at least 60% of them are restaurants, and probably out of that, 70% of those 60% are here in Florida. But we do business all over the country. We are what they call in the payment processing business, an ISO, independent sales organization for Fiserv, which used to be First Data, and they're the world's largest transaction processor. We also resell, I'm a wholesale reseller for ADP Payroll, and I also resell Fiserv's POS solution called Clover. And I also resell another solution specifically dedicated to restaurants called Adelo. So, you know, restaurant POS and payments is pretty much what I've been doing for the majority of my life. And, you know, down here in South Florida, we've done over the years, Cafe Moderano, Funky Buddha, Joe's Stone Crabs many years ago, the Micros and others. So, you know, what we're looking for here is I've got 6 employees. I got an office here and a small one up in the Orlando area. We cover Central Florida and I've got agents all over the country. And we buy those leads and telemarket them and set up appointments. And basically, we're just in South Florida, we're seeing about 150 new restaurants opening a month. So, I mean, Miami is killing it. And Broward is starting to now, but Miami is really, and these restaurants are doing $500,000 to $1 million a month in processing volume. These are no small shops, and it's become really big groups. I think when I look at the difference between here in Central Florida, a lot more independents we get up there in Central Florida. Here in Miami, it's all big groups. But if I can help you out with anything, and I'll certainly refer business to you if I get in there before it's too late. And so again, Joe Creek and Card Payment Services.
Thank you. Rick, good morning.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I tell you, if the economy's slowing down, it's definitely not slowing down in South Florida, according to Joe.
Oh,
That's pretty incredible. But Rick Israel with Affiliated Health Insurers. My niche, of course, is Medicare. But in this group, I like to offer our group benefit side and our ACA side. So if you're an independent and you're needing help with health insurance and you just don't know exactly where to turn, we do have the availability to price out through the Affordable Care Act. This is a time of year, though, that we are preparing for annual enrollment. We are taking our government tests and our certification tests as we go along. Just briefly to let you know, and I mentioned this in the Wednesday group, that right now that there are some changes coming to the enrollment process with Medicare Advantage plans this coming year. As of right now, the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services is requiring us that we record every telephonic enrollment that we make, which is going to be an astronomical feat and a financial breaking point for a lot of independent agents who don't have the funds to be able to do that. So we're working with CMS and Congress right now to try and get that reversed for independent agents. I will be in Florida in August and in November, so I'm hoping that I can meet up with everybody. And that's it for today. This is Rick Israel with Affiliated Health.
Hey, thank you. Steve, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Brian, I put something in the chat for you. Anyway, I have one of my tunes. It's related to what do you do if your business changes, and let me play it for you. Anyway, if sometimes, your businesses do change, the model changes, and you really have to do something else. So one of the things you can do is acquire another business and bring that into the fold. And sometimes the thing to do is sell off the old one, because even if it's in a dying industry, people buy those businesses to consolidate and really earn more money while they still can. Anyway, Steve Whitehill, Anchor Business Brokers.
Hey, thank you. Cliff, good morning.
He's on mute.
Yeah, you're on mute.
How's that?
Good.
Much better.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me today. So I've been in the franchising world for the last 20 years. My wife and I bought an executive office suite franchise about 20 years ago. We sold that business 2 years ago. And that was after a long career in retail. So I do a few things. I help people find the best franchise for themselves. And I do that by learning about their goals, skills, interests, and investment criteria. I represent hundreds of different franchises in many, many different industries. And I try to help them determine what's going to be a good fit for them. I show them a few different concepts after taking the time to learn as much as I can about them. As I said, I've been doing this for a long, long time. More and more people are looking at buying franchises or buying alternative business streams. And franchising is a safe and affordable alternative to corporate America or getting a job. And that's because you don't need to reinvent the wheel. The systems are there. In fact, many of you probably do business with franchise companies. You probably don't know it's a franchise, nor do you care. Basically, the franchises that I represent may cost anywhere from $100,000 up to over $500,000. You could buy additional locations or territories. And besides helping people find the best franchise, I also help successful companies become a franchise. And more companies are looking to do that. Whereas if they have a good system versus opening up and spending their own money, they're looking to take other people's money and bringing them into their system.
This is Chris Kaufman.
So, that's a quick overview of what I do. And I basically get my referrals or get my business through doing trade shows, networking, and referrals. And I also purchase leads. And as I said, I've been doing this for a long time.
Okay, thank you.
Cliff, I got a question for you. Do you go to the franchise, or did you go to the franchise show this year in San Diego?
No, I did not. The IFA?
Yes.
No, I did not. I have gone to them. I did not go this year.
What's your opinion of a show like that?
Depending on why you may be going there, it's great. It's like the biggest franchise show. Between that show and this show that takes place every June, the Jacob Javits Center in New York, you're going to be able to meet anybody in the franchising industry, whether it be other franchise companies, vendors. I mean, that's where you want to go. In fact, that's how I got into the franchising business. My wife and I went to the Jacob Javits Center over 20 years ago, and we found a concept that we liked. Ultimately, we bought a competitor, but that's how we got into the business.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Hey,
And welcome.
Hey,
Welcome.
Cliff, I have a quick question for you. I go to the one here in Georgia. They have 1 or 2 a year, and the last one I went was back, I think, was it March or April?
Where
It
was it?
wasn't-
Cobb County?
Yeah, it wasn't real strong. It wasn't real strong this year. There was a few restaurants, but a lot of other types of concepts and stuff like that. I went just to walk it, see. But yeah, there's some new concepts that came out of Myrtle Beach. You ever heard of Crazy Mason?
No.
There was a couple other ones, but yeah, it was just the one back in October last year was pretty good.
It's sometimes hit and miss. A lot has to do with the advertising that takes place. But
Yeah.
more and more people are going in this arena, and more companies are franchising their business.
Yeah,
Just to give you an idea, there's probably about 4,000 franchises in America. A third of them are food or restaurant related, but they come in all shapes and sizes, all different industries.
yeah. And there's some pretty cool concepts out there. Some pretty cool ones out there. I've seen a lot of coffee brands out there. They're trying to do stuff.
There's coffee. There's a lot of scalable businesses, which actually I like. Service businesses that you build and grow it as your business increases. You bring on more people, and you don't need to be per se in the retail business. So with people looking to hold on to the dollar, they're looking at other options besides having a brick and mortar business too.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Let me get Chris in.
Good morning, Chris Kaufman, CHRIS, Kaufman and Company. CHRIS is an acronym for clubs, hotels, restaurants, institutions, and sales. Those are the 5 areas where we've made placements since Ronald Reagan's first term back in the 1980s. And I'm the only president Chris Kaufman and Company has ever had. And I'm kind of proud of that. Almost had a stockholder revolt, but fortunately, when you carry more than 51% of the stock, so we work throughout the United States. Most of our recruiting work is in the restaurant industry. Most of it is Southeastern United States, but we have placed people in Seattle, Los Angeles, Texas, etc. And we're going to keep doing it till we get it right. Chris Kaufman, CHRIS Kaufman and Company. Come back to see us.
Okay. Well, thank you all for.
Chris, is that scene behind you, the beach where you are? Are you going to be out there this afternoon?
In my mind.
In your mind, okay.
Ed, he's been there for a while.
Yes, and loving it. But I got to lose some weight. I was on the beach and they kept wanting to push me back in the water.
That's right. Is that because you were clapping your hands?
All right. Anybody have anything else they want to bring up at this point?
I have a question.
Sure.
When and where is the restaurant show in Florida?
The restaurant show is in November this year for the first time. I don't know the exact dates. I think it's the 3rd to the 5th. Is that right, Ed?
Yes.
Okay,
I
and
believe
it's
that's
at
correct.
they're usually held at the convention center, but this year it's being held at the El Carib Resort. And I have a booth there, as we always have a booth at their shows.
Where's that, Orlando?
It's in Orlando, yes. Sorry.
Yes, it's
That
the
lo-
Carib Royal Resort.
That's about 5 miles from the convention center.
Yes. They always have it at the convention center, just not this year, for obvious reasons. The last few years have been with COVID. There wasn't a show. They tried desperately, but there wasn't a show. And then the couple years before that, there weren't that many booths. It only filled up about a quarter of the convention center on one side. So they've changed it to here, and I think it'll work out well here. It's a very, very nice upscale place. You can get a room there if you have a booth. They're still pricey, but I mean, you would get a discount for having a booth there. And you can go on their website, just type in Florida Restaurant and Lodging Show 22, and it'll give you everything you need to know.
Yeah. What's the dates on it?
It's November 2nd and 3rd.
Second and third.
2nd and 3rd, yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Ed. You know all this stuff. You always send it to me.
And the week following that, there's another show in Orlando at the convention center called the Pizza Today Summit.
That show
We
is,
have a full page ad in our paper, which is online at trnusa.com. So if you're interested, take a look at that. I'm going to officially end the meeting. Cliff, thank you for coming today.
Yeah.
Thank you all for coming. We'll see you again next week. So I appreciate it, and I'll keep the window open in case anybody wants to hang around.
Hey, Rick,
Yes, sir.
I'll be available end of August for you.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Okay.